Alright, we have a new project. I can hear this beam popping as the heat expands, and it's the same thing as what happened with that last one down the end that I had to replace. This is the one I'm going to be doing. It is this 4x pole, which means I'm going to have to clean some stuff up and move some things out, but you can see there it is sinking down, and the railroad tie is decrepit. So what I'm going to do is go get some food, feeling like a burger. Then when I get home, I got to clean up everything inside of there to make it accessible. And then I got to begin the process of removing the tack strip or the lath and the plywood boards. That probably means I'm going to have to run weed trimmer around here, scissors or something. And just like with the last one, what's going to happen is I'm going to have to take everything off of here at the bottom. I'm going to have to dig out around, cut out the section of bad railroad tie, and then I'm going to have to install the cinder block that I bought about this time last year for this purpose, knowing that this was going to happen too, because you remember I did that one over there already, so it's going to be the same thing here. Anyways, I realized it's getting bad. You can see there's places where the trim is coming off, that these things are nailed on, but they are twisting apart, and you can see that there's the same thing happening down here. So what I'm going to have to do is use the makeshift lift that I did last time. I'm going to have to lift that up slightly, straighten everything out, and then cinder block and backfill everything else. So it's going to be probably today and tomorrow, maybe the next day, depending. And I will keep progress posted as it happens. So I went to town, got food, ate my food, came out here and started working. Then moved the bookcase or whatever you want to call it, the shelf out the way. Had to move a bunch of boards off the floor. Had to sweep a whole bunch of stuff over, take a bunch of stuff out. Then I had to unscrew these two boards here. And then I had to undo these two 2x4s here. These are the cross pieces. And this railroad tie, we'll use that loosely, is almost completely gone here. So, yeah, what I'm doing is I got a line cut out here using this tool. Got to grab a shovel here in a minute and dig this all out. And then I got to dig out and use the reciprocating saw to cut out all of the railroad tie remains. I got 4 screws on the other side of this little bracket on the inside I got to get, and then once this is all dug out, I should be able to slide that straight off with the carriage bolt that was into the tie. And then at that point, I just dig everything out completely. A couple bags of gravel over there, pea gravel, and so what I'll do is I'll lay down a pea gravel bed to the measured height so I can fit the cinder block in there. I'm going to lift this up a little higher than it needs to go to get the block under it, and then I'll lay it down on top once it's settled. Then I will fill back the dirt, well, I guess I'll probably fill in the gravel, then fill back the dirt, but anyways. So then this will be done here by this evening, I believe. That is assuming, completion-wise, that I have enough screws to replace the ones on here, because those are all very rusty and nasty, and they're going to need new holes. And at some point, probably going to need new plywood. But anyways, this is what's going on with the porch. It is not a structural load-bearing anything, but it is pulling on the side of the house, which is why I'm doing this. And this whole thing, everything just as I lifted it up. Give you a little inside view real quick. And I'll turn my music back on and continue along the way. So here's the bracket, and you can kind of see there now the depth of it, or where it should be versus where it was. And you can see that this is now just a little bit above level. It's a little positive to that side, but when I get done with all of this and lower it back down, it should be perfect. 3-ton jack. I had to take one of the 4 pieces off of here to be able to fit this on like this due to this thing. And everything here is now rearranged. So that's where it is. Okay, it's a few minutes after 9, about an hour since the last video segment. Ugh. Got this dug out. I got to dig in a little farther, but I'm going inside for a break first and sit down and cool off. It's coming along. I don't know if I'm going to get this finished tonight or not, but I'll keep it updated. Okay. It's been about a half hour since the last video. The railroad tie has been removed. It was almost completely gone. There was barely any. Very easy to get out. So now what I have to do is measure the cinder block height, fill in pea gravel to just above that height. So I have a little bit of scrunch room, and then I'm going to lift this up a little farther, set the block in, and then place this down. Once I do that, it's just a matter of backfill, and then reattach the little 2x spacer pieces and the front. I'm not sure if that's going to be tonight or tomorrow, because if I don't have screws, I'll have to use nails, and it's going to be too late for me to be hammering. So this may be a thing that I do some minor touch-up finishing tomorrow after the main part is done, because I don't want this on the jack all night if I don't have to. So I'm going to get it at least to where it's supporting its own weight on there, and probably do the filling and replacement of panels tomorrow, because it's going to be late. I'm going to be exhausted, and I haven't mentioned the part where the weather out here right now is about 80 degrees Fahrenheit and about 80% humidity. It is fucking insane out here. It is muggy, and let's see if I can get a view of my face so you can see how foggy my glasses are. Just see the fog. I can barely see. Okay. It's only been about 10-15 minutes. Didn't take too much to get this dugout leveled and set, so I have to lower the jack. But first I'm going to do the backfill, which you can see what I got going here. Okay. Partial backfill is done. I can't really see the dirt pile. I could focus on it a bit if my glasses weren't so foggy, but they're also super scratched, so the light's not helping at all at this point. I've got it lowered onto the block. I think it's going to be all right there. I got a good amount of backfill. But everything else comes tomorrow, because I just lost all the oomph. I don't think my arms are going to be able to do much more than take a shower tonight. So I got to gather up these lights and my saw, and then I'll finish the update tomorrow. So here we have the wet spot from the Under Armour. All right, the last segment of the day, I just wanted to show you this. These are glistening wet. This is like if I had been out in the rain for a half an hour or longer, and it's only sweat. I never poured water on myself. It didn't rain. Sopping wet.